original travel bubble was attempted previously and it rapidly collapsed. So what is different this time, seeing that none of the territories that would be contributing to this bubble in the region have achieved even 40% vaccination? I think Antigua and Barbuda at 35% is one of the best performing where vaccination proportion or percentage is concerned. So the fact that we're now seeing strains of the coronavirus that were not present or not detected during the previous bubble attempts, anything goes wrong, it can be a catastrophe. Why do we believe that the bubble idea now is going to be on a more solid footing than it was before?
Well, it is Barbados who has announced that it is establishing this bubble. And it has also announced that Antigua and Barbuda is one of the first countries that will be accorded the freedoms which come with operating the bubble. But in Antigua and Barbuda's case, as the report clearly points out, we have not instituted a so-called bubble, but in fact have some very strict rules about entering Antigua and what one can do once one has entered. And I believe that, that they amount to ensuring that those who come to Antigua and are here in order to do business, that they must follow certain rules that will defend the Antigua and Barbuda people against possible infection. The bubble is really intended to ensure that those persons who come from countries with large numbers of infected people do not enter into the receiving state. And in Antigua and Barbuda's case, we have not placed such a rule in operation continuously. So you can originate from virtually any state and enter Antigua and Barbuda, providing you would have taken the test and the PCR test, and it has shown that you're not infected. And those who also have taken the inoculations, the two vaccines, or the vaccines administered over an 8 to 12 week period, those persons enjoy certain freedoms when entering Antigua and Barbuda that others don't. So take the residents and nationals of Antigua and Barbuda who have been fully inoculated and also have taken the PCR test before landing. They are offered the opportunity to go to their homes and to their hotels. Those going to their homes will take a PCR test, and for 2 days they must remain isolated so that in the event they contracted something on board, that it can be detected. The results after 2 days will be sufficient for us to know whether or not you're okay, and then you may then practice the rules, the protocols that have been put in place to prevent infections of your family members and the like. And the tourist goes off to a biosecure place, and that tourist must also take a test. Sometimes it's the antigen test that is administered, and providing the tourist does not have any of the dangerous viruses in his or her nostrils and so on, that he will be allowed to roam outside of the hotel, but obeying all the rules governing protocols. So it isn't as though Antigua and Barbuda is declaring a regional bubble. We gladly accept that Barbados, a place where the U.S. Embassy and the U.S. Consul are housed, will allow for many Antiguans and Barbudans who are seeking U.S. visas to get to Barbados, enter into Barbados and not be quarantined for days, conduct their business, and then return to Antigua almost immediately. And that, we think, is a boon to Antigua and Barbuda. Barbados is calling it a bubble, but we are delighted to know that Antiguans and Barbudans traveling to Barbados will be treated as though